Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into the architecture of world-class success today.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just looking at, what legendary investors and entrepreneurs, people like Peter Thiel, Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, what they achieved.
No.
We're trying to reverse engineer how they think. This deep dive is all about uncovering those mental models, the strategies that make their success seem almost inevitable.
That really is the goal. We've pulled together just a genuinely powerful stack of sources here.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is the tension between them. We go from this hard-nosed business strategy monopolies, funding, defining your market.
Right.
And then we pivot straight into cognitive psychology. We're talking about biases and frameworks for fighting your own brain. So our mission is to extract the deliberate recipes.
The recipes for success.
Exactly. For you, the learner, we want to provide the structural blueprints that lead to repeatable success, not just accidental luck.
I love that. If you're tired of generic tips and tricks, this is for you. We're going for the underlying structures of great achievement.
So where do we start?
Let's start with what might be the most controversial idea in modern business, the fundamental definition of winning.
Okay, let's jump right into that foundation. Escaping competition entirely. Peter Thiel famously gave us this really contrarian stance.
I know where you're going with this.
He said that capitalism and competition are, in fact,
Antonyms.
the complete opposite of each other.
Wait, hold on. Isn't that the opposite of everything we're taught in business school?
It is.
Competition is supposed to be the great driver of free markets, of innovation.
Sure, and low prices for consumers. And it is, in theory. But Thiel's argument is that competition just forces your margins down to zero. It keeps you in a constant, exhausting battle.
So you're always fighting.
Always. He insists the most crucial distinction in business is between competitive companies and companies that have monopolies. A monopoly in this context is just a happy company that is the one and only provider of a specific, differentiated solution.
So the goal isn't to compete better. The goal is to be completely unique.
Precisely. If you are unique, you control your own destiny. If you're competitive, you're just a price taker. And this is where he introduces the concept of competitive companies lying to themselves. He calls it the market shrinking lie.
I love this one. It's the rhetorical trick that unhappy competitive companies use to hide their mediocrity.
Think about it this way. You're a terrible competitive restaurant. Your margins are thin, people complain about the food. So what do?
You redefine.
You don't say you're an American restaurant competing with 500 others. You narrow your focus. You declare yourself the only artisanal, gluten-free, single-source bean burrito restaurant in a 5-block radius.
You've just shrunk the market so much that you can claim a monopoly over a niche nobody actually cares about.
Correct. The moment someone opens a better lunch option, your monopoly dissolves. Because the real market was always the broader lunch options available, regardless of your label.
Okay, so the ultimate goal is to build something genuinely differentiated, something that gives you true pricing power.
Exactly.
So how do you actually achieve that escape velocity to become a one-of-a-kind company?
Yeah.
The sources point toward a pretty critical framework for generating startup ideas, the 10X rule.
The 10X rule is, it's brutal, but it's effective. Success comes from making the existing solution 10 times easier, faster, more productive.
Or just 10 times better in some other way.
Right. You need a massive improvement because consumers are inherently lazy. A 20% better product isn't enough to get someone to switch. There's too much friction.
The classic example is Amazon's origin story, right? When they started as an online bookshop, they didn't just compete with Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
They offered a vastly greater range of books, often millions more titles than any physical store could ever possibly stock.
And that experience was 10 times better. Way more than 10 times, actually, if you were looking for hard-to-find titles.
That massive jump in utility immediately builds defensibility. And if we're talking about defensibility, we have to bring in Warren Buffett.
Of course, his most enduring concept for long-term winning, the economic moat.
I always appreciate the simplicity of that metaphor. It's about protecting the castle.
And that's all a moat is. It's a sustainable advantage that allows a company to outperform its rivals over an extended period, protecting market share and, critically, profitability. We have the famous quote from it.
Oh yeah, we're trying to find a business with a wide and long-lasting moat around it, surrounding and protecting a terrific economic castle.
And a moat isn't just a momentary lead, it's about durability.
Right. It could be having the lowest cost structure, a strong brand in the consumer's mind.
Superior service, tech edge, all of these things.
But the durability part is paramount.
It is, because Buffett also noted this crucial, almost funny caveat. Most modes aren't worth a damn.
Right.
They look good on paper, but they erode. Disruptive innovation or just relentless competition wears them down. Finding a truly defensible wide moat is rare, and that's why it's so valuable.
Makes perfect sense. The external strategy building the moat, it depends entirely on having the right internal mindset to even spot the opportunity. Which brings us smoothly into our next section, the mental toolkit. How do these people actually think differently?
Well, it starts with a willingness to look for what everyone else says doesn't exist.
Secrets.
Yeah. Thiel encourages us to resist this common, limiting intuition that the world is flat. This idea that all the great problems have been solved or all the secrets have been found.
I wonder, though, if a secret is so easy to find, why hasn't someone else found it already?
Because secrets are often concealed not by nature, but by consensus. They're obscured by conventional assumptions or market orthodoxy that everyone just agrees is how things work.
So if you believe there are no secrets left,
You'll only look for tiny improvements. But if you believe there are profound secrets left, you might just be the person to find one.
and to uncover those hidden truths, you need some powerful thinking tools. One of the most essential seems to be the mental model of inversion.
Inversion is so radical because it just flips your perspective entirely. It breaks that tunnel vision. So instead of asking, how do I solve this problem?
You ask the opposite.
You invert the question and ask, what action would guarantee failure?
And that immediately reveals flaws and priorities you might have otherwise overlooked.
Right. If you're trying to build a successful software product, listing the things that guarantee success can be pretty vague, right?
Good.
Great UI, good marketing.
Sure.
But listing things that guarantee failure is concrete. Running out of cash, building features nobody uses, ignoring customer support. Systematically eliminating those failure vectors is often a much clearer path to success.
So inversion is fundamentally a way of fighting the psychological flaws we all carry. This is where the cognitive science sources come in, showing us that just knowing about these flaws is, well, it isn't enough.
Exactly. Our sources highlight what's called the G.I. Joe fallacy.
I like this.
It's the dangerous tendency to think that merely knowing about a cognitive bias is enough to overcome it. It isn't. You need systems and checks to counteract them actively.
Okay, let's run through a few key biases we need to actively mitigate. Let's start with anchoring bias. Focalism.
This is a big one. It's relying too heavily anchoring on the first piece of information you receive. So say you're negotiating a contract and the other side throws out a number that's just outrageously high.
Right.
Even if you know it's ridiculous, that number disproportionately influences every single subsequent estimate and negotiation point.
You see this in product development constantly. If the initial budget estimate for a feature is $500,000, all future discussions somehow start at or near that number, even if it was a total guess.
It's anchored. Then there's the availability heuristic.
This one makes us terrible judges of risk, doesn't it?
It does. It means we overestimate the likelihood of events that are more easily recalled from memory.
Things that are recent, unusual, or emotionally charged.
Exactly. A spectacular, rare airline disaster gets massive news coverage, leading people to fear flying, even though the statistical risk is tiny compared to driving.
And investors do this all the time. They make bad decisions based on the most dramatic recent market crash, not the long-term data.
And crucial for any negotiation or investment decision, loss aversion.
Loss aversion is so powerful.
The perceived pain of giving something up that you own is roughly twice as great as the pleasure you get from acquiring it in the first place.
So that's the psychological mechanism that explains why people hold on to bad investments longer than they should. They're hoping to break even.
Even though they wouldn't buy that same stock today. It's the sunk cost fallacy's ugly cousin. And finally, proportionality bias.
Okay.
This is the innate human tendency to assume that big events must have big causes. When something massive and complex happens, a global pandemic, a financial crisis, our brains prefer a simple, massive, singular explanation over the messy reality of thousands of small, interconnected failures.
Which might explain why people are so prone to accepting conspiracy theories. The official explanation often seems too mundane for the scale of the outcome.
Exactly. And understanding these biases is step one, but then you have to implement. You need the right mindset, but then you need the right execution to actually scale.
Which brings us right to section 3, where we see the power of concentration and the power law.
The power law. It dictates that in certain fields, especially tech startups, creative industries, the results follow a massively skewed distribution.
Meaning a tiny percentage of outcomes account for almost all the returns.
The skew is just vast.
Yeah.
And the implication is that focused resource allocation concentration on your potential winners yields way more impact than spreading your investments thin.
Diversifying too broadly in these environments basically guarantees mediocrity.
It does. And Warren Buffett is the perfect example of this in public markets. Our sources noted that just 5 companies accounted for about 71% of Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio at the end of 2024.
71% in 5 companies. That is profound concentration.
Built on a deep, deep confidence in the durability of those moats. And if you apply that to venture capital, the logic is unavoidable.
Yeah.
If one successful company in a fund of 20 will generate 10 times the return of the other 19 combined, well, then every decision has to be focused on ensuring that single winner gets the resources it needs.
So Thiel's argument is that if there's a winner-take-all dynamic, giving up 25% of your business to a top VC is worth it.
Absolutely worth it, if it enables you to take over your entire industry.
So moving from that abstract strategy to daily execution, we have these incredibly practical mental models of velocity and friction.
Velocity, simply put, is just progress toward your goal. Friction, or viscosity, is the sand in the gears.
All the unnecessary steps, processes, bureaucratic drag that slows you down.
And progress isn't just about working harder, is it? It's about fighting that friction.
It's the constant elimination of things that are not contributing.
If you want to increase velocity, you spend as much time removing complexity and unnecessary meetings as you do adding features or writing code.
Let's apply this to the practical side of scaling for founders. Pitching and fundraising. We often think a pitch just needs to be compelling.
But that misses a key psychological reality for the investor.
Which is?
You have to overcome investor inertia. Senior VCs are already wealthy. A new deal adds significant workload and, failure risk to their portfolio. You should never assume they're desperate to fund you.
Right, because your company probably isn't going to materially change their life, but it could add to their failure rate.
Exactly. So the affirmative angle, just saying, my product is wonderful, is often not enough to overcome that reluctance.
Which is why the pitch mechanics need to be ruthlessly streamlined.
VCs allocate very modest cognitive resources to early pitches because they are so busy. You need to do the thinking and the calculations for them.
So if your pitch requires the VC to run complicated math,
they won't. One suggestion is to pitch to an audience of moderately intelligent 9th graders, short attention span, absolutely no deep intuition about your industry.
So the pitch needs to be almost shockingly simple. High-level metrics, clear problem solution, obvious market.
Precisely. And for those seeking earlier funding, angel investors often use convertible debt instruments, like a SAFE or a convertible note.
Okay, for our listener who isn't steeped in startup finance, what's the core purpose of convertible debt?
It's brilliant in its simplicity. It's basically a loan or an investment that converts into equity later when the company actually proves its worth.
So when it hits milestones or raises a bigger round?
Right. It defers the messy, time-consuming argument about what is this early-stage company actually worth until you have real data. It removes friction.
It's just fascinating how these same principles, escaping competition, achieving velocity, applying the power law, apply directly to the digital and creator economy today.
Which is the new arms race for attention.
It's a perfect case study in the power law.
Oh, absolutely. Here, we see this major shift in the quality versus quantity debate. Many successful creators find that quantity breeds quality.
Meaning they post their 50th or 100th or 200th video before they go truly viral.
Because they're iterating, they're fighting friction, and they're searching for the secret of what resonates. You have to stay in the game long enough to hit the right part of that power curve.
And virality is engineered. It's not just random luck.
The sources highlight retention tactics. Virality is often achieved by embedding these intentional, small, sand-in-the-gears items, like a dog going crazy in the background of a normal video.
Just to hold attention.
Specifically to hold the attention of a distracted viewer just long enough. These retention tactics are the moat for creators.
So the ultimate innovation path here isn't to reinvent the entire medium, it's to become an innovator within a niche.
Exactly. Street interviews have been around forever, but new innovators find explosive success by adapting the concept to a new platform or a specific demographic.
The fundamentals stay the same.
They do. And the attention race is escalating because social media offers the world's greatest wave of free advertising. Competitors are using AI and mask flipping to win this race by generating a higher velocity of content. The advice is clear. Go wider and focus relentlessly on becoming known.
This entire deep dive has been a journey through deliberate decision-making, from identifying monopoly opportunities and building moats, to using inversion to challenge our deepest assumptions, and then applying power law thinking to focus our efforts where they matter most.
Indeed. And we can finish with Peter Thiel's core principle.
Yeah.
You are not a lottery ticket. Success doesn't come from statistical probability. It comes from deliberate design and planning.
Right.
Ray Dalio wished the most successful people would just write down their recipes into algorithms. Your life, like the development of technology, is a story of one-time events, not just statistics.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to consider. If you are not a lottery ticket, and if your success must be deliberately planned, what is the single compelling reason, not multiple minor justifications, that will define and direct your next